everyone. I'd like to call to order the JPS meeting of September 21st, 2021. Roll call, please.
Chair Menahan?
Here.
Member Chaplin? Here. Member Covert?
Here.
Member Desart? Here. Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Here.
Member Krajewski? Member Ozog? Here. Member Pachalski? Member Schwarzy? Member Selman? Member Zay?
All right, thank you. And I will entertain a motion to allow Member Covert to participate remotely as she was exposed and is currently in quarantine. So I'll take that motion. All right. Start, second by Garcia. Do we need a roll call vote on that? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, welcome, Member Covert. And moving on to Chairwoman's remarks. First of all, just a hearty thank you to my Vice Chair, Don Pachowski, for manning the JPS. I cannot beat 8 minutes, so thank you very much for that. And then my only remark is we have had some changes in the way the court eviction process is going to be handled over at the court. And we know the moratorium, we've gone through many changes with that. So today, one of our last things will be Kimberly Varest will be here with the latest procedure. So thank you for being here along with her team with Suzanne Armstrong. So we look forward to that later in the meeting. And with that, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. All right, thank you. Questions, comments, additions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are passed. We have one procurement requisition. I'll take a motion on JPSP 36121, contract purchase order for probation Sentinel Offender Services GPS device for juveniles and indigent adult offenders and adults, October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022, not to exceed 103,000. All right, we had a motion put by Vice Chair Pachowski, second.
Chaplin?
Chaplin, thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that is passes. Take a motion on resolution FIR 43621, acceptance appropriation of state court improvement grant for the court, $10,000. All right, second by Desart, I think.
Garcia.
Okay, Garcia, thank you. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That is passed. I'll take a motion to combine budget transfers items 8A, B, and C. All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, those will be combined. I'll take a motion to approve budget transfer 8A, which is $36,500 for the coroner's office to cover expenses of salary increase for a chief forensic pathologist. At B, we have for the sheriff's office, transfer $22,702 to cover invoice for BCO Training Academy and negative balances for IMRF and med and hospital benefits. And at C, for the public defender, $345 for a shortage of funds, as only $2,500 was budgeted on that line item to cover costs for FY 2021. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, those budget transfers are passed. I'll take a motion to receive and place on file informational item, Public Defender's Office, August 2021 monthly statistical report. Okay, thank you. Questions or comments on this item? Member Desart?
I have a question for Mr. York. I know that I had made the request to separate the juvenile offenses from the offenses against juvenile, and you did that for me, and I really appreciate that. I'm wondering now, looking at that chart, the case chart on page 962, can we break that down further into DuPage County residents versus outside DuPage County residents? Is that possible, Mr. York? Not just the offenses, but all the cases listed on page 962. If we could see how many offenders are from DuPage County and how many are outside of DuPage County.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I will check. I'm not sure. We have a very transient client base. So sometimes identifying where they are from is difficult. For instance, if they were in jail, we would count them as a DuPage County resident, even if they didn't live here. So, but I can certainly look into that, yes.
I appreciate that because we hear a lot about all of these, for example, Cook County residents coming out to DuPage and committing crimes. So I'd really like to see what the facts are regarding that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Member Sart. Yes, Member Eckhoff.
I just gonna say, I don't know if I heard this from the state's attorney or the sheriff, but that was my understanding that half the people in the jail were outside of DuPage County. For what it's worth.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments on this item? All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, that will be received and placed on file. And with that, I will welcome Kimberly Verest, our arbitration administrator for the 18th Judicial Circuit Court with some information on eviction. Thank you.
Good morning. Again, I'm Kimberly Verest, the arbitration administrator for the 18th Judicial Circuit Court. I work for Chief Judge Popejoy and Suzanne Armstrong. I'm here today to give you an update on our eviction mediation program. Since it was last here on June 1st, we've changed directions. The nonprofit we were working with did not receive their full grant money. And so instead we have shifted directions to run our own eviction mediation program in-house. Our first step was to finalize our local court rules for the eviction program that we would run internally. This was a long process that started in February 2021 with an initial first draft that went through a group of local attorneys who practiced both landlord and tenant law, got revised through our eviction court judges, our court administrator, our local court rules committee, which is comprised of judges, and finally approved by our circuit court judge and Chief Judge Popejoy. The rules were designed to mitigate the suspected surge of eviction filings from the COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing economic fallout. The chief goal of our rules is to assist tenants and landlords in avoiding eviction and pursuing mutually beneficial alternatives. The rules create an eviction program that's designed to aid in the administration of justice and promote judicial efficiency to combat homelessness. Our rules and therefore our program is designed to be a professional, streamlined program that connects both tenants and landlords to rental and rehousing services, available grant money, legal services, and to mediation. The eviction mediation program under our rules is a confidential process whereby a neutral mediator appointed by the court can assist litigants in reaching a mutually acceptable agreement. Our next step after completing our local court rules was to hire a program coordinator. We actually hired internal candidate, Alyssa Fortino, who's here with me today. This is actually her second day of her second week, and she's quickly getting up to speed. Alyssa comes to us from Community Services, where she was there for over 9 years. In the last 3 years of her career there, she was working directly with landlords and tenants. So she knows exactly the type of rental assistance and rehousing programs that are available to individuals. During her 9 years with Community Services, she worked one-on-one with individuals, and she will serve as an on-the-spot help desk for people in the courthouse. We also have begun training our mediators. We have through part 1 of 2 trainings so far. The second's happening this week. We designed the training ourselves, recruited, publicized it, and are in the thick of it. It's a 2-part training. The first part focuses on the basics of serving as a mediator, foundational skills for mediation, and ethical concerns that mediators should consider. The second part is happening this Thursday, the 23rd, and we're going to go over the basics of landlord-tenant law that a mediator would need to know to get good agreements. What are the types of agreements that judges and attorneys are looking for? Also, they'll learn about association fee disputes, what are the 2 different perspectives from a unit owner or an association fee, how to look for agreements in that place, what community resources are available. So we'll have a speaker from Community Services informing the mediators of what's out there and what they can be thinking of, a model for how to mediate eviction cases time efficiently, how to use court orders to memorialize their agreements, and then finally all the program logistics they would need to know. Then this Thursday, after the trainings are complete, we're going to open up applications and we'll start receiving the applications. At that point, we'll review them, make sure that mediators have a resume that satisfies our local court rule requirements, get them approved by our presiding judge of chancery, and then start getting them scheduled into slots starting October 4th and later in the month. As of this weekend, Governor Pritzker had extended the moratorium through October 3rd, so we'll be up and running that day. Someone who did not get a chance to take our trainings live will have the opportunity to watch them. They've been recorded thanks to the DuPage County Bar Association, who will edit them and have them available on demand. Next, we've created a mediation center at the top of the 3rd floor escalators to the left in a visible, easy to access location. Our program coordinator will be located there to be able to give individuals on the spot referrals and to, of course, run the mediation program. The center has 4 private mediation rooms for individuals to be able to mediate. And then each room also has Zoom capabilities. So if the mediation is over Zoom, someone needs access to the internet or actual hardware, they can come to the mediation center and use Zoom. Finally, our partners in this program, Prairie State Legal Services and Community Services, have been busy coming up with their own workflows on how to handle a surge in eviction filings. Prairie State Legal Services now has 3 attorneys instead of the 1 attorney that they've traditionally had, along with 2 legal assistants, so that they can connect with as many individuals on the spot as possible in our courtrooms. Community Services has already hired and started to train 1 of the 2 case managers that they'll have available for individuals in our courtrooms who are interested in rental or rehousing assistance. Chief Judge Popejoy has provided space in the courthouse in the anterooms off of the courtrooms directly, so that Prairie State and Community Services can have a private space for their meetings with referrals. And Prairie State's actually already up and running in our courtrooms, training their new staff to figure out how they would handle a surge. All of us have figured out a way that we can coordinate to get information from individuals if there happens to be too many people for us to reach that morning, how we can capture their information and follow up with them within the next few business days. We are hearing from attorneys who represent the larger landlords that they are seeing an uptick in cases. And even as of yesterday, I heard from 2 smaller sort of attorneys who handle smaller landlords that already have a lot of interest as well from their clients to start filing evictions. This means on Tuesdays and Thursdays, if we were to see a surge, we could have as many as 80 new cases filed a day. And again, we have a workflow and process that'll help us get in touch with everybody who's referred to our program through the judges. So, thank you.
Sorry, that was on. Thanks so much for your presentation today. It was very helpful. And I think you gave us this number before, but do we have an idea of how many people might be coming through with evictions?
No,
we don't.
no. I mean, in a non-COVID year, so in 2018, we had about 3,400 eviction filings. No one knows what's coming down the pipeline. So that's been one of the major hurdles in planning a program, not knowing what's happening. You know, if the money that's out there has gotten to people and they're not going to end up filing, that would be great. That was, I believe, their intention. If the money got to them, but then later it's going to run out and that's when we see it. Will the winter time affect it? Traditionally, it's slower in those courtrooms during the winter. So we don't have any idea, unfortunately. Yeah.
Member Garcia. Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation. I really, really appreciate it. I guess one of the questions I had, because it sounds like it's going to be quite a influx of people coming in, you know, and you don't know the timing on this. In terms of staffing for this, are you fully staffed at this point? Do you have all the equipment you need? I just want to make sure that you're totally prepared for the surge if you do get one.
So we have been able to hire our Alyssa, our program coordinator, before this would have been very difficult. But we are waiting to receive money to be able to actually pay mediators, so that we can, pay them a nominal fee for their time. We've found in the arbitration program, which I also run, which is an alternative dispute resolution program, that if we pay arbitrators a nominal fee, it gives us a ready and able supply of consistent arbitrators to pull from through all the cases that we hear. And that is a significantly less amount of what we could get through evictions. And then also the circuits around us have money to pay for mediators. And so we would be, without that money, we'll be trying to recruit as many volunteer mediators as we could to staff it. So that would be difficult.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm just concerned. I know we didn't make any decisions on the ARPA money, and I think some of that was going to be going toward the eviction. So I'm hoping that we can discuss this more in full at the next board meeting. Thank you. Thank you for bringing up that point. I think we're definitely going to see more of the ARPA. I think some things were left off of our last schedule. So thanks for bringing that up. And Vice Chair Pachowski?
Well, I just think this is a good program because it gets cases moving. My question is, are other counties doing similar things, or is this DuPage doing this as the sole, or is it other counties pursuing something similar to this as well?
Yes, thank you. There are other counties pursuing similar programs. So Kane, Boone, Kankakee, Winnebago counties, they are working with RSI, a nonprofit who got grant money to run mediation programs. And they're smaller counties, the nonprofit could take them on. We are so large that we would have taken up any grant money they got. So we are running our own program. Lake County is running their own as well. Ours is going to be larger than theirs. They're expected to only do it one day a week on Thursdays with pros days, and then basically outsource almost all of the processes to contracted mediators. So ours is, I would, outside of Cook County, who's running their own program, the largest internal program that I've heard of in the northern part of the state. There's another organization that got money to run programs in the southern part of the state, but I don't know much about them. I think their challenges are a little different than ours are. Yeah.
Thank you. Member Zay? No, nothing? Anybody else? Comments? Yeah, I'd just like to thank you, Kimberly, Suzanne, welcome, Alyssa. Thank you to all your team. I think you've shown great agility and been able to, be able to surf all the changes, all the timelines, all the moratorium pullbacks. So I thank you for that. And I also want to mention, I think community services has done a great job working together with the court system to dovetail, which is so important for residents, for landlords, for tenants. And I invite anybody who's interested in learning more about what community services part in this is. At HHS, we're going to have a presentation from Mary Keating and Joan Fox. So we will continue the conversation. We look forward to updates, and best of luck as this starts.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
All right, with that, we'll turn to old business. Do you have any old business? Anyone? All right, in that case, I would like to just bring up under old business the ARPA money. And I think we're all spending a lot of time in terms of how we're looking at this and kind of how we're mentally perceiving buckets. And looking at our JPS, all of our stakeholders, I had an opportunity to speak to a number of them over the past weeks. And I think what we can thematically see that online court is a new reality. And I think as much as we've done a great job with the CARES money, that was a quick response. And boy, did we do a great job doing it. In terms of recovery, I think we've still got that last mile or two to go. So I think probably some of our lawyers on the committee probably understand that we're never going to go back probably to wholly in-person court. Supreme Court Chief Justice Ann Burke has said that, and I think there's some information I'd like to get out to all of you in terms of it is an access to justice issue. It is this. Some of this was already going, but then with COVID, it definitely had to ramp up. So there are costs associated with that, whether it be retrofitting of electronic forms, infrastructure to support hybrid experience. And I'm hearing this from the clerk of the circuit court, from the 18th court itself, from our state's attorney. So all different arms of our JPS are saying, we need more in terms of infrastructure. So I hope when we're looking at the ARPA, we can kind of put that together mentally and and find some support for that. Another kind of a secondary theme I'm seeing on the ARPA is spacing and social distancing. And that is the very glamorous task of scanning. And there's a cost to it, but we see a lot of other counties are doing. Lake County has invested something like $6 million in scanning, and that's going to give them more space for social distancing. Also being able to bring more people on when it comes to whether it be the Safety Act or whatever requirements we're going to be see coming down the line. So Winnebago County also spending $2 to $3 million clearing out their basement, making space for social distancing. So like I said, it's maybe not our most glamorous thing that we can be doing with the ARPA, but it is a consideration and it is going to help us down the line. So I just want to bring that up, as a kind of a thematic, like I said, and any other old business, any comments from anyone? Okay, seeing none, do we have any new business? No new business? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting to October 5th, 2021. All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.